when you play your original music and you get to the point where you're playing Big Day Out or like a big international band support, and you're playing like a huge show where there's thousands of people there, and it's your music and people are singing it back to you, that is just absolutely incredible. And I don't think there's a comparable feeling when it's your music and they're singing it back to you. That is something that's really hard to top.
Why do we write music, and what does it do for us? And what's it like to hear stadiums full of people singing your original songs? Welcome to the Good Vibes Show with Marie Hopkinson and friends. Today we're going to be talking to Matt Harskamp about his journey in music, his advice for singer-songwriters and people that are interested in writing music. And we're talking about why do we write music and what does it do for us personally, like if we're suffering with things that are bothering us, like a heartbreak or going through a breakup and all those sorts of things. So I'll let the episode speak for itself, but it was a really great interview. It was lovely to really chat one-on-one with Matt and talk about his journey in music, and hopefully some of these things will inspire you if you're a singer-songwriter, if you're a person that's just interested in music and you're just curious to know behind the scenes. Now, his bands that he's been in include Verona's, include Shimmergloom, and he's also got a really cool new local band called Hair Metal Heaven. You can check out the links to some of Matt's music from Shimmergloom in the link below with his Spotify and that kind of stuff, but I'll let the episode speak for itself. And I just wanted to welcome you to the first episode of the Good Vibes Show. This is going to be a regular show on my YouTube, so if you're on YouTube and you haven't, there we go, you haven't subscribed already, make sure you click that subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll get to hear when we're doing another episode. And also this will be published on my Facebook page and on audio on Spotify and iTunes and all the rest of it. So I really hope you enjoy today's episode. I'll see you at the end. All right, welcome everyone to the Good Vibes Show. Today I'm with Matt Harskamp, and we're going to be talking about his journey in music and some really exciting things about his musical ventures that he's doing at the moment. And welcome so much, Matt.
Thanks, Marie.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Yep. So on this show we're going to be talking about what makes people inspired by music and what music does for you, and also talking about like songwriting and why you write the songs and what you get out of writing the songs. So Matt's been doing music for since you were born?
Yeah, probably. I grew up in a musical household. So my father's been playing in bands since he was very young, and his family were travelling musicians in Holland before they came across to Australia. So we grew up in a house where, there was always music either being played on the, like the radio or records, or maybe Dad would play guitar, or there'd be band practices, or we'd go and see our dad play live. And when we were young, myself and my brother, who's a drummer, we would get up and play the odd song with Dad every now and then. And so we were introduced to it very young, and I think that's a great way to be brought up, because music's such a wonderful thing.
Yeah, I kind of had that as well. Started violin when I was 4.
Wow.
It's kind of a weird introduction to music.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and then next thing you know, there was 4 squeaky violins in our house.
4 squeaky violins. That sounds good.
Sounds like a name for a band.
That's probably a good name for a band, the Squeaky Violins.
So, and what kind of, just maybe give us an overview of what you're doing at the moment, and then we'll go maybe back and talk about some of your songwriting and music that you've written, because you're doing something really, I think it's really cool in where I live in Perth. You've got probably one of the most popular cover bands, local cover bands for, I want to say hair metal because that's the name of your band, but that's not really a genre. But
yeah, it is. Hair metal is a genre. Yeah, we call it a tribute because so we're sort of just. It's more like when we think of cover bands, we think of like a band that plays like all different sort of eras and artists and genres. With the tribute band, we tend to focus on one specific genre or era or band, for example. And so with the Hair Metal Heaven tribute, we're actually just doing hair metal bands and stadium rock songs and bands from the 80s, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do the whole thing. We do not only do the songs, we try to make them as authentic as possible. We do the full costume, so we have the spandex and the the big hair and the bandanas and the tattoos and everything, the fake tattoos in my case.
Yeah.
And we try to make it as, as realistic to like a 1980 something show as possible. And we also incorporate a little bit of humour here and there to try and make it a good time. And that's pretty much what it's all about. And in fact, we use the tagline, "Nothing but a good time," which is the Poison song.
Awesome.
So that's our main sort of, the idea. We want people to come along and just have a really good time and step back a bit in time and just remember what it's like to have some good fun and just forget about the rest of your worries and things.
Yeah. I think I've been to a couple of shows, and one thing I was struggling at the start to work out was, are these people dressing up for this show, or is this how they normally dress?
Are you talking about us or the audience?
No, the audience. People in the audience, because they're so diehard into it that you can't work out, like, is this... I literally thought there was some people that I'm pretty sure this is how they legitimately dress, right?
Yeah,
and
possibly.
They were just fully immersed, and it was completely an experience, not just like, you kind of forgot, didn't want to, you're not like, to me, a good experience is where you're not thinking about your phone or anything like that. You're just in it, and you're not thinking, who's fucking calling me, or where's my emails? You don't have time for that because you're just kind of immersed in it. And you could see that people were really, really in it and just, exactly, having a really good time.
Yeah, excellent. That's what we want from them. And look, we do encourage people to dress, in the style of the era, and that might be what people wear every day for some of these people because they love the music so much, and that's totally cool too. And we love it when we get people who might not have grown up with that era come along. We played, I know you've seen us at Lucy's Love Shack, which is a bit of an underground venue, and they get a lot of younger crew there, and we've had a lot of young people come along and get dressed up and say things like they're really grateful that we're playing these songs live, so they get to see them live because they didn't grow up in the era when they were being performed as much,
Yeah, right.
So that's really great when we hear those kind of stories from anyone really, but especially younger crew. They're just so grateful. We've never seen these songs played live, and it's just so awesome, to hear them. And we're like, oh man, it just really makes you feel good about what you're doing, and it makes it more enjoyable because it's fun at the best of times.
Yeah. Do you think that Hair Metal Heaven's the most fun band you've ever?
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. Hair Metal Heaven is just so much fun.
Yeah.
I love it. I was just talking to the boys earlier today about when we were talking about shows and stuff. I was just saying this is the most fun I've ever had in bands. Just because the whole thing is fun. We get to play a character that's not necessarily ourselves because we've all got character names that are based on, legends of the rock scene. And so we get to, put on a wig and some spandex and, some crazy get up and then just go and play some songs we really like and then just be another character for 2 hours. And so you can get away with pretty much anything and say anything and, within reason, obviously.
Yep.
And that's part of the fun. But also the guys that we play in the band with are just really good guys. And that's one of the things that I've sort of, in the music industry, you'll find a lot of talented people, but you don't always get along as well as you would like to. Whereas we've gotten to this point now where it's like just a no dickheads rule, where you want to be playing music with people that you get along with, you vibe with, and are talented as well. And we've got a lot of talented guys in the band. So I feel very fortunate that we get to play music with them, but also we get to hang out. And when we don't see each other, it's almost like you haven't seen your family for a while. So it's really good from that point of view. And I'm very grateful. And I'm hoping that it continues for as much as possible. So got to get people to shows.
It's a fun thing. If you're in Perth, you've got to go. Like, even if you don't think you like that kind of music, you should go just for the experience. It's an immersive experience, right? It's hard to find those experiences, I reckon, these days, because you just, I don't know, you're so bamboozled by all this stuff, and to find something where you're just like, I'm just in the moment is I think that's quite rare, actually. It's funny because I don't know if we told you this story, but someone that we mutually know, their friend at their work, saw you play, but they didn't know it was you, but they do know you, and they said, I went to this band on the weekend, and there was this this metal band, and it was so amazing, and all this, and it's like, and he was going on to him about it. And he goes, that's Matt's band. He's like, no way. He's like, yeah. He's like, what? It's like your character's so immersive that people didn't even, like, this guy knows you, he didn't even know that it was you.
I think that's good, because sometimes we probably get a little bit crazy, so it's probably good that we can then take the wig off and the gear off, and nobody will recognise us later, so we can get away with some of the shenanigans we get up to. But yeah, it is quite funny that you do have people come along and they don't even realise that it's you. But no, that's great. I'm glad. All we want to hear is that people are enjoying themselves. And that if you say that it feels immersive, then that's fantastic to us, because we really want people to come down and just lose themselves in the music. And that's what music should be about, having a good time and then going home and feeling good, And I find that era of music, it was about having a good time. I mean, hence the song from Poison, Nothing But a Good Time, Jump by Van Halen, all these sorts of tunes where they get you up and about, and hopefully you can just dance or, sing or do whatever you want to do and just really have a good time. So
awesome.
It is great fun.
Yeah. And do you find that is, like, now going through all the different sort of music that you've played, because you played in, maybe 10 bands, or have like lots of original bands you've been in?
Yeah, I've played in a few original bands, but I've also been very lucky to have bands that have lasted a long time in the original scene and have done reasonably well, so kind of carved out a career in those original bands. And then every now and then I've done a cover band thing every now and then, but for most of the time I was an original musician and sort of prided myself on the original side of things. But I honestly haven't had too many bands over the years. I've been lucky enough to have certain bands last a long time, like Shimmergloom, which is it was like 10 years with Shimmergloom, and even though probably our first one, the one that we had our most success with, which was Verona, that was probably only 6, 7, 8 years or something like that, and then there was the odd project in between there, but mainly those couple of big bands sort of have done most of the bulk of the heavy lifting when it comes to my musical side of things. So it's been good.
And what's your favourite kind of music to play now, thinking about all the different, like, is there a certain genre that you like more than another thing to perform and play?
Well, I definitely love the hair metal tribute thing. The music there is really challenging because, on the record there's probably 3 or 4 or 5 overdubs of things, and you're also talking about guys like Eddie Van Halen and all these people that are guitar virtuosos, Randy Rhoads from Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath and people like that. These guys are not just your average sort of musician, they're incredible musos. So to then try to perform that and then also have to move around because you're putting on a show.
Yeah. And you guys do move around, like you really...
We try to.
You're jumping up and down, like you're almost doing the splits.
Yeah, we knock each other out a fair bit because we've got the small stage and you
have to have like around. A guitar helmet, safety helmet.
Yeah, we've cracked each other a few times and been or stepped on leads or kicked each other trying to jump around, and so that makes it quite difficult. But that I really enjoy playing. When you play your original music and you get to the point where you're playing Big Day Out or like a big international band support, and you're playing like a huge show where there's thousands of people there, and it's your music and people are singing it back to you, that is just absolutely incredible. And I don't think there's a comparable feeling, even though the tribute stuff is amazing because people are singing the songs and getting into it and having a good time. When it's your music and they're singing it back to you, that is something that's really hard to top. Yeah. And we've had those experiences with Verona back in the early days, and when you're playing to huge amounts of people, it can be scary, but also it's kind of just really cool too. And for me, I've always felt that when I'm on stage, that's my most comfortable. Yeah. And everything else was just like killing time in between trying to get to the point where I was back on stage playing in front of a crowd again, and you know, you just have some amazing experiences, and you meet so many great people, and you know, experiences you wouldn't have had if you weren't in the music industry. So, but yeah, for me, definitely playing your own stuff and having people, you know, have a full mosh pit going off and singing your tunes, and then, you know, also, I remember we did a show with Verona early on. It was a Amnesty International show, and there was some big bands. I think You and My, possibly Tumbleweed or someone were playing on the show after us, and we supported. And as they brought the drum kit on, people started screaming and stuff.
Wow!
And you know, that was just pretty trippy.
Yeah.
You know, it was just like very, very cool. And yeah, so yeah, I think there's good sides to everything. It's just I'm just stoked to be playing music, and then I get to do it. You know, pretty much I've done it most of my life as my career, and then, you know, everything else I do on the outside is just to pay the bills.
It's a hard life to get to the point where, at any point in your life, where you're sourcing your main thing from music.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah. Particularly original music is very hard to make a living out of, and if you want to get somewhere, you got to put a lot into it. So I really admire those people that, you know, live on the bones of their backsides and just put everything into their original music in the hope that they'll make it. Because on the one hand, you kind of need to do that, but on the other hand, sometimes you need to have another job to have the money to be able to record your music and do a decent version of your tune, so that you can put your best foot forward when you present stuff to people. So yeah, it's not easy, but it's also rewarding and fulfilling in ways that a normal job probably isn't.
What advice would you give to people that are young, that are like wanting to do that, and they want to write their own songs and get into it, and they want to have that as their primary thing? What do you reckon you'd tell them?
A couple of things. It's not always. It may not be as quick and as easy as you think it's going to be to get where you want to get. So it might be, as they say, you know, like an overnight success sometimes takes 10 years, for example. But the other thing is that we were always told by the record companies that we were working with was, no point just being good. You've got to be good, but a little bit different.
That's good advice.
Because.
Like Audi.
Well, kind of, yes, exactly. Exactly. I didn't realise I was spruiking the Audi ad there. But you want to be good, but you want to be a little bit different, a little bit fresh, so that you know, you people will go, oh wow, that's really cool, but it's also kind of interesting, and it sort of sets you apart from everybody else. Because what I find now with a lot of modern music that's on, you know, on the radio and on TV, is it all has that similar sound. You know, a lot of them use the same 4 chords. There's a lot of auto-tune, the similar type of vocal that they use, and I find it doesn't interest me. And I'm a musician, so I might be different to the mainstream audience, but it's when you find something that's a little bit different. Well, Adele, for example, came along and she didn't sound like anyone else really at the time, and then you had all these artists come up after that, sort of copycatting what she did.
Oh, this is a winning formula, let's try that.
That's right, and that's what people do. And in the old days, they used to do that. I remember speaking to people who were in the industry, and they were saying back in the days in America, you know, whatever band was big at the time, say it was Aerosmith, then the scouts would go looking for a band that they could make sound like Aerosmith, or that would sound like Aerosmith. Yeah. And then they'd push that to try and, you know, milk that for as long as they could, and then the next thing would come along, and then they would try and get bands that sound like that to cash in on whatever sound was in at the time.
Okay. And that trend's obviously never died.
Well, yeah, but I think now, from what I know and what I've been told in the industry, it's a lot of the music that gets put on the radio and through TV and stuff is written by pretty much 2 or 3 people. This is like, I'm talking about internationally and in the US. A lot of it comes from the same songwriters, and it's basically just farmed out to particular artists. But one thing that is different from now is that it takes was it $2 million for a new artist to be broken in the international scene, and that's just marketing alone. Yeah. So this is what these big companies are spending to try and get a new artist out. And what they do is they flood, you know, your radio and your TV with the song, and then obviously the more people hear it, the more it becomes familiar, and familiarity makes them feel like they like the song because they know the song. And that's why they use similar chords, because then people hear a song, oh, I like this song, why do I like the song? Well, it's because it's the same chords that you've heard in 20 other songs in the last 3 years, you know, and so that can be, that's the way it appears from the information I've been, you know, passed on to me from people in the industry. That's a lot of what goes on. But then I don't think that's a good way to do it, and I don't think it's something I would want to do. I think as an artist you have to be true to yourself, and you have to stick at it, and if you believe in yourself, then you may not get there, but you're not going to get there unless you believe in yourself.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not trying and you're not believing yourself, you've got no chance.
Well, the thing is,
you might as well have a bit of a chance.
Sometimes people come out and then they get a few like knockbacks, or they get rejected and they don't continue with what they're doing. I mean, it's okay to evolve and you know, continually work on your sound, but I think it's not a good idea to abandon what you're doing. And then try and copy what someone else is doing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, this is working over here. Let's go over here.
That's
right.
This
is working. People do that in business all the time, right? And it's like, in a business sense, I just call it chasing the Snuggie. Because I don't know if you do remember that Snuggie thing that came out once, where they were like this blanket that's basically you sit in a blanket, and it was on TV, and it was like just a blanket that you sit in, and it was like this amazing thing, right? The Snuggie. And I was like, if only I could invent the Snuggie. Like, where's the next Snuggie? And I just tell myself, because as a business person, I'm constantly thinking, what's the next trend? What's the next thing? And like, you actually just need to spend the time on your own business and just keep working at that, if that's what you should be doing.
Yeah, well, you got to do what you love, and if you don't love a particular style of music, then you're less likely to succeed at it, because you're not really doing what your heart wants you to do. Do you know what I mean? So if you do have a particular style of music, and even if it was based on a style that was 20, 30 years ago, but you love it and you want to come out and do it, then you've got to do that, and you've got to do it to the best of your ability, and you can pick up, you know, tips and ideas from other genres and the way it's being done by successful artists, but I wouldn't suggest you change your style. You got to be true to yourself, basically. I guess that's a long-winded of saying just be true to yourself. Long-winded way of saying be true to yourself.
But that's good, because sometimes people say those things and they're like throwaway sayings and they don't have any meaning when you just say it in a throwaway saying way. So that's good, and I think that's great advice. And if you are going to keep that longevity of doing it, you need to love doing it. Right?
Absolutely.
You can't sort of be thinking, I didn't make it in the next. I think because especially young people have a huge benefit of social media, but it's also this other huge conundrum of like, I should have been a star in 3 weeks' time. You know, I've been on TikTok for 3 weeks and I haven't broken it yet, so I'm a failure at it. Like, it's only 3 weeks in the grand scheme of life, but in those kinds of models, like, it can.
But I think that's not just like modern youth. I mean, I remember when I came out of school, I said to myself, okay, I'm going to do music for a year, and if I don't make it, I'm going to go and join the Air Force.
Okay.
And within a year...
Giving it a year.
That's it. It was like, I thought, I'll just give it a year. And, you know, because when you're young, you obviously... Sometimes you don't realise how much it takes to do these things. And then I was still going years and years. I've never gone into the Air Force. So 40 years later or 30 years later or whatever. I'm still here. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not really trying to push a career as such in original music. I'm doing something different. But as I said, 30 years of, you know, trying to make it, you know, and having varying degrees of success, but it's not an instant thing that you're going to just, you know, that you think's going to happen like that. So if you do something and it doesn't happen within 3 weeks or a year or 3 years or 10 years, as long as you love it and it makes you happy, then you got to keep doing it.
Yeah. What do you think you get out of writing your own songs, like that you couldn't get anywhere else, that you think that makes you keep going back to kind of doing it?
Well, it's cathartic. So if you have things that you just even on your mind and you want to get off your chest, a song is the best way to do that. I mean, I was talking to someone about this today. The guys in Genesis used to joke that every time Phil Collins had a breakup, they'd be getting a new album because all these songs were breakup songs, you know. and he'd come out and write all these classic gems because he'd had a breakout from a relationship. So, I mean, I've done that myself, and it can be very, it can be very reassuring. It can be very, as I said, cathartic to get it out, to get it off your chest, and then that's it. But I also find that it gives you hope, is what I find with writing music. And it gives you hope that it might go somewhere. It gives you hope that someone might like it and understand where you're coming from and say, oh, okay, yeah, I get that. I feel the same way about a particular situation. And I always found that when I was doing original music, if I had a break and I was doing something else or I wasn't doing music, I just found that I was generally not as happy a person. I was a bit crankier with the world. And then when I go back to writing, it just I just felt a lot better about myself and about the universe because I felt like I was contributing something.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. Yeah. Cool. Do you think that, like, music is a way for people to, like, what do you think that people, I mean, you've got lots of different genres of songs that you've done in your bands and stuff. What purpose do you think music plays in a general sense, do you think, like in the world, and like the importance of, like, people talk about the importance of art and the importance of music, and like not just for you to write the songs but other people to hear it, like?
Well, I always used to say that I think music is the closest thing to magic that we have left in the world, because a song can make you happy, it can make you sad, it can get you energized, it can make you think about things in a different way. It can get a message across in such a way that might make someone think twice about what they're doing or change their life direction. And so it can generate feelings that, standard words might not be able to do.
So one of the bands that you played, that I saw you play live, I mean probably a little while ago now, was Shimmergloom. And you've done a few albums, and that people can get that on Spotify. What I might do is play a little clip of it. YouTube kind of like demonetizes and does weird things if you play music live. So we can play 10 seconds of it to give you a little idea, and insert clip here. I'll be there to catch you when you fall. So you can come on Spotify and have a listen to it. The thing I find about listening to Shimmergloom is like there's kind of like an emotion there that's like, I mean, for me that's not the kind of music I would sit there and listen to like normally. Like I know there's tons of people that love that kind of style of music, but like you can feel this emotion there in the songs, and you can also, like, the other thing that kind of comes to mind with those songs for me is it's very tight. Like it's like the way it's played, and like your harmonies and everything's like it's really tight, and there's something very, I don't know, I just find that really great.
Thank you, that's nice.
That's all right. That's my way of saying I like I don't know, when you don't like you would, it's not your go-to music, but you're like, oh yeah, I'll listen to that anyway because I can appreciate the goodness of the music. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's good to have an open mind and listen to different things, for sure. Yeah. And really, Shimmergloom is probably a musician's band.
Yeah, okay, that's a good way to think about it. Right.
So I wouldn't say that we're not the type of band that you would listen to and you probably get into it straight away. Mm-hmm. We're like a slow burn. So we're the kind of band I'd say, look, if you want to listen to us, just put the album on in the background and just let it play, and just do it a few times, and then you might find
$2 million worth of times. They'll eventually like you.
Yeah, $2 million worth of times. But yeah, like you put it on and you just do something, or you listen to it in your headphones, and I think that's another thing. Being a musician's band, I think, like our most recent album, Minotaur versus Giant, is if you put headphones on, you probably appreciate more of what's going on.
Yeah.
Whereas if you play it in speakers, although it still hopefully sounds alright, you lose a lot of the stuff that's going on.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of things, particularly a song like Senseless Ceilings, which is based on, it's actually a song about anxiety.
Okay.
Having an anxiety disorder. And it's build up of sounds and a build up of layers that come into the song as it moves along. So when you got headphones on, you can hear everything that's going on a bit more. Yep. Whereas if you have it just in speakers, a lot of that atmospheric structure might get lost a bit. But yeah, so we sort of pride ourselves on being hopefully a band that musicians can listen to and go, oh, you know, I like that, or I can see what they're doing here and get into it that way. And hopefully there's people who just like it because some of the songs are hopefully catchy enough for people to get into.
Yeah, the songs are super catchy for sure. And yeah, and it's just, you should check it out if you're watching this. I'll put the link below.
Yeah, we try to walk a fine line between, like just enough that people can sort of get into it, but also have little sections where it's a bit more technical from a musician's point of view, you know, timing with drums and bass and guitars. And Gareth Parsons, who's the guitarist, and he and I wrote a lot of songs. Sometimes we'd do a song that Gareth had come up with, or sometimes it'd be something I'd come up with, or something we'd worked on together. And obviously my brother was playing drums, so Jay and I had worked together in Verona, so we played together for a very long time, and Jay's actually the drummer in Hair Metal Heaven as well now, so we've done a lot of work together. And he likes to do things that challenge him and make it a little bit technical and a little bit different. And I remember when we were writing one of the songs, it's called Biosynthetic Harmony. It's called Synthetic Harmony.
That's my favourite song that you have.
Is it?
It's probably a little bit different to the other ones.
It is.
But that's the one I put on my Spotify playlist.
But if you listen to the start of that, it's quite a slow burn at the start, and then when Jay starts the drums, he does a completely different drum beat than what you would expect from that, and it just takes the song in a different direction. So, and that kind of endears it to us because it makes it interesting and a bit more challenging to play rather than doing the straight 4/4 or the straight normal beat that you would expect. So sometimes that's good. Sometimes it takes you away from mainstream audiences.
Yeah,
so.
okay. It's not the standard 4 chords that they were expecting to hear.
Definitely not that, and it's definitely not the structure that you would expect all the time.
Yeah.
So
But look, I think it's good. I think people have the ability to search out their own music now more than ever.
For sure.
And they can really find these things and get in touch, and you don't have to just take what you're served up to on the radio. Like,
that's right.
I very rarely listen to the radio, like just as a matter of course.
Yeah.
So that's great. Like, we're not at the mercy of whatever they're just serving up to us. And I think the people watching this are like seeking these things out to find out and listen and know more. So how great is that? Like,
well, it's awesome. And if they do happen to come across our stuff and have a listen, well, I hope they enjoy it because we enjoyed making it, and it's part of us. This is the thing about a song. A song is like giving birth to something. It's a creation of your own. It's a little part of you that you rip out of your soul and you chuck it into the universe, and you have to hope that people like it. And that's one of the tough things you've got to deal with when you are a musician, is that you're going to get people that don't like your stuff, and you're going to get criticism. And when it's something that's so personal to you, it can be very hard to take that criticism.
How do you deal with that?
Well, you just have to have belief in yourself. And one of the things that kind of happened to us, because we got signed up to a major label pretty young, it kind of gave us that belief. And so I always felt after that we could get back to that.
Okay, yep.
And then, even though it took a while with Shimmergloom to then get signed to another record label, even though it was an independent label, we were still incredibly grateful that we had that support from a local label in Doghouse Records, and they just were so great for us. And it just gives you more belief and reinforces that hopefully you're doing things the right way.
Yep.
You know, and so
it's very strange with art, isn't it? Because sometimes you think, oh, this is the greatest thing ever, and even it's hard for yourself sometimes. Like, especially, I don't know if you find this, but sometimes you write a song and you're like, oh, this is the greatest song I've ever done, and then you play it back the next day, you're like, oh, that was terrible. Why did I think that was so great? Like, you're in this high of this moment, right? And you kind of need some. So if you don't have your own self-judgment, thank God I do now, but like if you don't, you sort of think, oh, put this out in the world right now, like how it is, right? And you do need that collaboration with other people, but also maybe not people that are gonna people that have got your back in a general sense, that are not there to be like they're jealous of you and they're just telling you that it's terrible because they're jealous of you,
Yeah,
or, you know, like, hopefully our record label isn't going to be telling you those things for that reason. But I'm talking about people that are just starting out and they're not sure whether their thing is good, or like they're sensitive about it, or they're like, you know, yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, and look, a label, they can be very, if you got the right label, they can be very, very supportive, which is hopefully, you know, what you want. Obviously it's what you want, but hopefully you get that if you do get to the point where you're working for a label. But they can also be very objective and subjective, and they might think a song is great, they might not like a song that you like, and then you've got that dichotomy. We actually had, I remember our first EP, we had this song that we just had on there. It was a complete throwaway song to us. But I remember I used to get people coming up and saying how much they loved that song. And we were just like, why do you like that song? It's terrible. Like we did not, and we've never, like, I don't think we played it after the first EP was kind of done and dusted. Once we had enough songs to kick it out of the set list, it wasn't played anymore. Because to us it was
your fans are probably waiting for it to be played.
Yeah, it was just like this real sort of syrupy, and I was just like, we got to get rid of that song. And then we'd play something else that we think would be, this song's really great, it's got all this stuff. But then you've got to remember that everybody has their own taste based on their life experiences.
Yeah.
So you have all these people saying that you love this song, you've just got to like be grateful that they love it and play it for them, because they are the reason that you're able to keep doing what you're doing, you know.
They're paying for the next song.
That's right, exactly. They are, and the next album, and so on and so forth. So, but sometimes it takes a while to do that. And sometimes, if you do have a modicum of success, you probably get sick of playing certain songs. And we had that. I know we had that with Verona. There was certain songs that people always wanted to hear, particular songs. I know that some of the guys didn't really want to play it anymore because they were sick of playing that song. So you can be a victim of your own success sometimes as well. But you just got to remember that that's the reason that you're still able to do it.
Yeah, and that might have been the only time that person can come to one of your shows, as it, you know, or it depends on where you're playing and stuff, and they might be like, hang on a minute, I just want to hear that one.
Yeah.
Why didn't you play that? Yeah.
Well, I remember I was at a Cure concert over here a few years back, and it was at the new Perth, whatever that place, RSC Arena or whatever it is. And there was a couple of ladies sitting to the left of me, and they were like, have they played Friday, on Friday I'm in Love yet? Like, no, they haven't played that yet. Yeah. They were just there to hear that one song.
We only know one song.
And I'm listening to all these amazing Cure songs.
Are you like, I think you'll know when it comes on?
Yeah. And I'm just like, and that incidentally is the song that I like of theirs the least. And you get people there who are there just to hear that because they love that particular song. So you've got to play all your songs if you can, because your audience is going to be many and varied. So. Yeah. And just be grateful that somebody likes the song enough to come and pay the money to see you play.
Yeah, that's good advice. Yeah. All right. So so thank you so much for sharing your
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on your show. It's good to be on the show and have a chat, and I'm glad that your music's doing well.
Yeah, it's doing all right.
It's doing all right. You're doing really well, and I'm very, very glad to see it.
Yeah, thank you.
You're doing great, so keep it up and never stop, never stopping, exactly. As the Lonely Island would say.
Awesome. So you can check out, if you're in Perth, you have to come to the gig, and I'll be at the gig, the next one you're doing, which is the 27th
June 25th.
Oh, 25th of June.
At Lyrics Underground. I always say Lyric, it's Lyrics Underground in Maylands. And that's the Hair Metal Heaven 80s prom, so get dressed up in your 80s prom gear and come down, and we'll have, we'll play 2 live sets of stadium rock bangers, and then I'll just DJ some 80s prom tunes, and hopefully we have a prom king and a prom queen.
You can dress up as well. Yep. Like it's fully a fully immersive experience.
Yeah, it's more fun if you dress up. I reckon.
Yeah. Well, now I know that. I'm probably dress up. You won't recognise who I am.
That's fantastic. I think it's awesome because, look, I don't know if you haven't been to a lot of, or you don't like going to fancy dress parties or whatever. I think you're kind of missing out, because when you dress up as a character, you get to be someone else,
Yes.
And sure, you might feel embarrassed for a bit, but that's all part of stepping out of your comfort zone and just, enjoying
Oh, mate,
it.
once you get in that venue, you won't feel embarrassed. You'll fit right in.
That's right. And if you see what I'm wearing, you'll be right.
Exactly.
If you feel embarrassed, just ask for Squeezer Butler, the bass player, and just have a look at what I'm wearing, and you'll be okay.
Yeah, if you can pull that off and dance about on the stage, then...
Well, I'm not sure I can pull it off, but,
you can.
but I'm doing it anyway, so...
Awesome. So you can check that out. And if you're not in Perth, you're probably not, but you might be. But if you're not and you're thinking, I want to check this out, you can follow your page, Hair Metal Heaven, on Facebook.
Yes, on Facebook.
And they have all kinds of funny little clips that they do, behind the scenes things, and like there's really like heaps of cool little interactive stuff on there.
Lots of silliness, basically.
Yeah.
With a little bit of music sprinkled in here and there.
If you're an 80s fan, you'll enjoy the page and the content. And check out Shimmergloom, and we'll put all the links below here. And thank you so much, Matt.
My pleasure.
Have a great,
Thanks for having me.
Great day.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.